Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon. Introduced to you, my name is Dr. Sarerusaenye from Custom Media Sdn Bhd, Malaysia. And today I would like to share my research study, a title of an exploratory study of human behavior towards intentions to use facial biometrics payment among Malaysian consumers. And which I have done this research with Professor Dr. Nur Adnan Yahya from Malaysia University Science of Technology in Malaysia. All right. I will go to the research objective as usual, then research background, next to the research methodology. So from here you may see how this research has been done, and I will show the analysis part after that. At the end, briefly I will do small discussion. Alright, so without further delay, yeah, for information, there a little bit history about this research paper, how I can keep with this project, because of in 2021 I have developed FRCP system. FRCP stands for facial recognition cashless payment, and yet this is the fundamental study that I should pursue before the development suppose. By the way, it's okay. So basically I found a few of problems that lead to this research. To make it short, firstly, as you can see from this slide, there are less research has been done about human behavior in facial recognitions in Malaysia specifically. And secondly, there are a lot of resistance during the adoptions of a new system. That is normal for us, but there are possibility of project to fail among the companies. What I mean here, the companies who become the service provider and producing this to the market as the advanced technology. And the third of reasons, there is a problem where many of the people ignorance among, especially among developer. This is a fact, it's a ignorance regarding on relationship between usage attitude and usage intentions. So therefore, the objective of our research, there are two. First of all, we want to identify the perceptions of our people in Malaysia, Malaysian people, towards the use of facial in cashless payment. We do not have yet the system, but yeah, why not? We are ready to this kind of the transactions using that digital offer payment. Secondly, here we want to investigate the important characteristic, which is it will be useful and it will be relevant for anybody who tends to develop FR cashless payment. So let's we go to the project background. Here you can see that it has two models. First of all, UTAU2, and secondly is product quality model based on the ISO 25010 standards. This standards or this set of a standard for the software product quality. Yep. Before we start, the distributions of questionnaire, which is we conducted that face-to-face interview in the streets. All right. We already designed the questions, and for your information, each of the item follow this UTAUT model. This UTAUT model is extension of UTAUT 1, and the researcher is Venkatesh, is produced by 2012. The difference between UTAUT 1 and 2 and a standard, which is they will have a what we call moderator variable. There you can see there's age, gender, and experience as the moderations variable. On your left, they will have a few of that construct of independent variable, and dependent variable will be the use behavior. So we use this one and we design our questions based on this construct, that relevant construct, in this UTAUT 2. Anyhow, um, we just selected 5 constructs. They will have a reasons why. Some of a question intentionally we set to get the answers of acquisitions in terms of characteristic from the product quality model. Like for example, we choose to have a functional suitability characteristic. That is the first. Second is we used to choose usabilities, characteristic, and last will be security. Here, why we just selected 5 relevant independent variable from UTAUT, because of based on our theoretical assumptions, and it's the only certain of a variable, and the characteristic in product quality model only related to our scope of a study. You can see here, all right, this is the research methodology. We have the conceptual model that we propose. We only select 5 relevant independent variables. They are trust, effort of expectancy, performance expectancy, social influence, and hedonic motivation. And we try to find the what we call this significant correlation between this independent variable to the intention to use dependent variable when that user want to adapt to the new technology, especially for this project FRCP. And yeah, you can see that there are respondents. Okay, the sampling has been taken from total number of 385 respondents around Malaysia, Sabah and Sarawak, because of difficulty to get face-to-face of interview. So they have a 61.5 female corresponding to this particularly project, and we also have a 38.5 of a male respondent respectively. And you can see we used to have to check the reliability and validity of our sample of the questions and the answers. So we distribute using the Google form, and then interview them on the streets. Then we get the answers right after. In the collections of a data, we send it up to the data view from the SPSS software. And here, as what you can see, all right, this is the way how that data has been analyzed. In the first place, that as I mentioned just now, we designed the questionnaire, all right, specifically following that selected 5 construct, and after that we also embedded a few of questions related to the 3 characteristics from the ISO standard 25010. And after we done and collect, then we used to have the what we call it, the process of to find the mean of the value for each of that the data. And then you can do this one exactly as what we do, and this part you need to do the descriptive analysis. Here we are choosing the kurtosis and skewness method, and next, after we got that value, we analyze the correlation between our independent variable and dependent variable using a Pearson test. And next, after the analysis of this correlation, either that it has the relationship or not, we also need to have the linear regression. We run the linear regression test between all the correlations of independent variable and dependent variable. Also, the moderator variable, which is in this case is age, gender, and experience of using the digital payment or online payment. Then last and but not least, we also do a check the tolerance and conduct the chi-square test. And as you can see from table of reliability here, all right, on your left, um, average of all construct, we found we get a good value in 0.8. You can see from this crunchback alpha, they all is a 0.8, and then only social influence and hedonic motivation has um, 0.7. And if we can look to the statistical of the research, this is a good value. Yeah, this is a good value to moving forward. And next, so far, as referred to the table of descriptive statistic result. All right, here, descriptive statistic result. All construct means value also less than 5. You can see that here is a less than 5. Therefore, you know why? Because of our questionnaire design followed by the 5 Likert scale. So we need to get the mean value here less than 5. Yeah. So the value is consistent and acceptable in this descriptive statistic. And same goes to the value of skewness and the kurtosis. If you look at the skewness and kurtosis value in descriptive statistic table here, all right, we know that it is masked near or between to -1 or +1, and that value will be consistent and will be accepted too. This proof to show that our research in here, our constructs items are valid in each of that constructors. On the other hand, let's we look at to the table of correlation, which is we are conducted Pearson's test, and Pearson's test has been selected to analyze correlation. Example, we're going to take a look at this sun value of a trust in here. The first one is a trust, and the trust will get the value of 0.679. It means this is correlated to the intention to use, and glad to see that all of our constructs, trust, effort of expectancy, social influence, performance expectancies, and hedonic motivation um, are correlated to intention to use of FRCP. All constructs has a significant influence, and it's more than 50%. And by looking at the p-value for each of that, you will know that this is a strong of the correlation. Lastly, let's I continue. We want to confirming this test using a chi-square test. And I guess that everybody knows about the chi-square test. This is to see or to investigate either that it has the correlation between the moderations variable. Don't forget that in this research we have a three of a moderation variable is, and we also have another two, which is gender and experience. So interventions of these three moderation variable can actually change or not change the relationship between our independent variable to the dependent variable. So if we look at to this value, okay, you can find that definitely in the first place we should do back to the linear regression to see the value of r square and also f stat and the beta and the t stat. So from that, if you look at to that value, the previous of expected of a result, we're going to compare with the chi-square test value. And then in the chi-square test table, can we refer to this table at the bottom here? Only age and experience using the online banking QR code and the e-wallet online transactions has significant influence toward the um, correlation between independent variable to the dependent variable. As you can see here that the value in the red font, it's showing that there are no interventions or significant influence in terms of gender, towards to all of constructor and the dependent variable. Therefore, we can look at to the discussion and also conclusion. All right. From this research study, the result shown that performance expectancy has a strong of significant influence toward the intention to use, which has a 71% variance, and this is the highest compared to the others of constructs in the independent variable. Second, construct is hedonic motivation. It has 70% variation, significant influence, intention to use this FRCP. So both variable, it produce the highest reliable data in return and can be classified as a giving major impact to the human behavior towards to the purpose of investigations of user acceptances theory in our research. From here, we can see that, for example, 1 unit of performance expectancy increased 84% of intention to use FRCP. And for the hedonics of the motivations, it's for 1 unit, it's increased 82%. And the others constructor also have impact, and fortunately to say that is at least more than 50% of impact increase towards the intention to use FRCP. Like for example, 1 unit of trust increase 74% of intention to use. 1 unit of effort expectancy increase 70% of intention to use, and 1 unit of social influence increase 63% of intention to use. The next of the result, we found that experience for those have a level of experience using online banking and consider like digital transactions in this case, such as that QR code, e-wallet. All right, it's a significant influence and give the positive impact to the relationship between all independent variable and dependent variable. So what we can conclude that higher functionality suitability, the more consumer trust to use the system, and the higher security posed in the system, the stronger trust consumer put in the decision to use or not to ready apply and practicing or decline. The strategy elements to promote the use of FRCP in society in among the companies, it's really important because of they need to produce this logic system with simplicity, because based on our face-to-face interview using the Google form, we found that more than 85 of a number of respondents, a percentage of a number of respondents provide the info to show that it is useful if when we want to introduce a new technology, we should to demonstrate how to use this system. And using a social media, and this is social platforms such as TikTok and so on, they can help, and the government should to support. In my research paper, I mentioned about all of this because of this allow consumer to feel that FRCP does not require much effort. Last but not least, what we can conclude, hedonic motivations can inversely predict consumer intention to use. It's also indicating the importance of reducing or even it able to eliminate the use of cash and increase the experience of not using mobile phone in any payment transactions. You can imagine you don't bring anything, you want to buy something, you just use your facial. So I guess that there are a lot of suggestion we stated in our paper and the limitations, of course, from this research. For further look out on our paper, you can refer on that. Thank you. Please check out on our email just in case if you need further of questions. See you. Thank you.